Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Alberto Rullan with Performance Equine Veterinary Services. Today I have a very special guest with me. This is Dr. Alfredo Lichoa, and he has been working with us for quite some time right now. And I wanted him to come and tell all our audience about his story, his life. What is his purpose in life from the very beginnings? Welcome, Dr. Lichoa. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. One of my purpose in life was always being an equine vet because I always been surrounded by horses in my country, and I always was a passion to be a horse vet because horses was the one principle, the best animal in the world. I will love it, and I always was amazed what they do. So my journey started a long time ago, around 1980s, when I decided to become a vet. I went to vet school in Venezuela. I graduated in 1989. Then around 2001, we decided to move to United States because the life and situation in Venezuela was getting really worried about my daughters. So we decided to move to Venezuela, to United States, to perceive new horizons and get better life for my family and myself. We started the journey here right before, the week before September 11. That was happened. That changed all the situation about us because before September 11 was easy to have the process to take a license in the United States. After September 11, you're required to be, has a legal status more than a tourist to have access to obtain a license.
Which license are you talking about?
The veterinary license.
The veterinary license, okay.
And before 2001, every tourist that came to the United States was easy to obtain a driver license. So they give you opening to have a business, to have even a social security number. After September 11, there were more strict rules to have those papers, so you have to change your status from tourist or to have a working visa or residence, a green card, or being a citizen. So the journey started with us. It took like around 4 or 5 years to finalize the whole process. Some hiccups during the way, plus beside the farm that was supposed to be hired to work for them, the owner died in the process, so we start from zero again, looking for new jobs to start to try to make a living and to raise a family and to get time to study to have the license.
But you came in 2000, so you came in 2001.
Yes.
And then you were hired by a farm.
Yes.
But the person died.
Yes.
So you got no job after that.
No job after that.
Okay.
So we started working, even if it was a vet, I started working as a groom, hoe walker, broodmare manager, farm manager, horse trainer, all the above, until I got until I got my vet license. Of course, to the point, it's very interesting that what I got my vet license because I hit bottom very hard on my life.
Well, we don't have to get there yet. Hold on one second. So when you came to the United States, just for our audience to know, veterinarians in other countries cannot just come here and work as veterinarians because there is not a license validation. Now they have to go through a very rigorous process to get their veterinary license and be able to practice in the United States. That's why you had to be a groom, a hot walker, and that's why you had to do every other job being a successful veterinarian in Venezuela, right?
Yes. So the steps to be a veterinarian in the United States is basically 6 steps.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is the TOEFL. Mm-hmm. That's the for the English efficiency. Then you have to do a science, they call it science test. It's like the pre-vet test. Then you have to approve the NAVLE, that's the National American Veterinary License Examination. That is every vet graduate in the state has to pass that test to be able to practice in the United States. After that, you have a test, they call it a practical comprehensive exam that is 3 and a half days practicing with all the different species.
So you have to get the validation, you have to know about every species.
You have to know about every species, but you have to be very, very strong on small animal practice, believe it or not.
Dogs and cats.
Dogs and cats, because 75% of the test, 60 to 75% of the test is belong dogs and cats. So I was working all my life with horses, and I worked a little bit with dogs and cats when I was at vet school, and that for me was very hard because you have to come back to the initial studies plus the new techniques, the new equipments, new technology, and new diagnostic tools to work with small animals. So even with horses too. So the journey started, and so in May 2022, I did pass my license test.
Very nice.
Yes.
And when did you go to vet school?
I started in 1983.
So you are one of the few persons that I know, actually the only one I know, who basically went to school again, worked very hard, and passed one of the hardest tests out there. That is a huge accomplishment.
Well, I get back to school after 38 years to study by myself.
So for those of you who think it's too late, for those of you who think that you're too past your opportunity, take this as a great example, because it's never too late. This is a perfect example because it's never too late. And how have your life been after you passed that test compared to before you passed that test?
I reborn.
You reborn.
I reborn. I feel like I just get out of school, and honestly, I was gonna sound selfish what I was saying, but I'm not working. I'm having fun. I'm honestly, what I do every day, I wake up in the morning. I don't want to say at what time, but I always excited to get to the clinic, to start working, checking what's new to do, and honestly, every day is a new challenge, and it's really, really encouraging to work with you guys, because it has been, beside my daughters and my wife, of course I have my mom, I love them too much, but beside that, I think the best thing ever happened to me is work here in Ocala with you guys.
Thank you. Isn't that such a great message, right? A person that comes all the way from another country without speaking the language.
No.
Right? When you came here, you didn't speak any English.
No, because I'm sorry to interrupt you. My wife is bilingual, perfectly bilingual. My 2 daughters are perfectly bilingual. So under me, it's gonna sound again so wow, what that? I never got the intention to learn because I have my family that will help me. So again, I was like a 41 when I started learning English again. So maybe you can see on my accent, my pronunciation sometimes doesn't go according to what you like to hear, but I go forward. I'm not stop. So
take another example. For those of you who think it's too late to learn a language, at the age of 41, learn English, enough English to be able to take the American Veterinary Medicine test and pass it. So you came, learn English while you were working as a groom, as a hog walker. Then you did so good that you became a manager, a very successful farm manager in Ocala, correct?
yes, well, because what happened after the farm I was working as an intern vet, I was on the supervision of the other vets, so I can do work when you are without license. You can work on the supervision of other vets,
Like an apprentice.
like an apprentice.
Mhm.
So the owner of the farm died. They closed the farm, and I I couldn't keep going to the intention to take the license, and every time was a little harder because the time, because the money. Always was struggling for money, and I got $2 that one was in college, and we were paying from the college because she wasn't qualified for any scholarship because she was a foreigner, and the other little girl, she was going to start in middle school. So and my wife couldn't work either until she got her papers. So we struggled like for 4 or 5 years. So I have to work whatever it takes to keep the family afloat. So like I say, we did a groom, hog walker. What means hog walker is that you, when the horse is coming from training, you get the horse from the rider and you start walk the horse for 15-20 minutes till they cool down. So then I did a little bit of broodmare manager in a farm, and then I connect with one of the most prestigious breeding operations and pinhooking operations, Harley Lorenzo Thoroughbreds. I was the stallion manager there for 6 years. And then I got hired by Nelson Jones Training Center, and we opened a new operation, breeding operation called Northwest Stud. That we were successful with 6 stallions for a couple of years. And then I decided to be a horse trainer. That's the part there.
So you went from groom, hot walker, then you got a great opportunity at Harley Lorenzo, and you took that opportunity. Then you got another opportunity at Nelson Jones Training Center. You became manager there.
Of Northwest Stud, and then also manager of the training center, both operations at the same time.
And if I recall correctly, you got the award of manager of the year one time,
yes,
right?
It was very successful the year, and a lot of friends, they took it as a proud thing for them because they said it's the first Latin person that was getting an award of the Florida Thoroughbred Association. So
awesome.
The Florida Farm Manager.
Awesome.
So that was very encouraged because a lot of people, they were seeing you as example to do good things.
Mm-hmm. And then somehow you got the itch, which a lot of us do once in a while, to become a horse trainer.
That always been my itch, besides being a vet. That always been, and I got the opportunity to train horses for the same people as Northwest Stud, and they gave me 5 horses. So we start training horses, and then we won 5 races at the 8th star the first 4 months. And I thought that was a piece of cake. That's the best thing, the best easy job ever. But you have to count, when you are an employee, you don't have to be worried about the payments to collect the money, or you don't have to be worried about the maintenance of the horses because the owner, they were giving you everything. So I was like a fresh head every morning training, and it was so good. And I say, that's too easy, so let me go on my own. And I took horses from outside to I be the manager, the administrator, and everything on my own. And that was a catastrophe, really a catastrophe.
So it's like you were working for someone else, and then you becoming a trainer. But you just say, oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. I'm gonna be my own business. I'm gonna have my own business.
Exactly.
And then you went from an expert on being a trainer to a beginner in business, huh?
Exactly. Yes, you're right, 100%. So the beginner of the business was very bad because at the thoroughbred industry, in this part, all the trainers, they collect the money 35 to 45 days after you board the horse for a month and you train the horse for a month.
So you have to pay for the feed yourself, for the farrier,
and then you collect the money.
And then you collect the money.
Then you collect the money. So that was the part of the problem, because you have to be a really, really good administrator to have them on time and follow like a hunting for the owners to pay you, even if you're winning races, the to keep the horses fed, trained, well-being is a lot of money, and then you have to, how you say, to cover all of that until you get your money back. If they don't pay you on time, that cycle get disrupted, so you can you have problem for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, well, my decision was to keep going, and then I went to Miami because I got stolen in a place called Palmettos Training Center. It's a satellite training center for Gulfstream Park. And then the things were getting worse there. I was gambling, honestly, a lot to try to figure out the money because the owners didn't pay me on time. So I was trying to gambling.
So you were betting on horses?
Betting on horses to try to make money to keep the horses afloat.
But not all trainers bet on horses?
No,
Ah.
no. That's the biggest mistake that I learned the hard way. So that was one of the biggest downsides of my life.
Okay.
So I met a group of people. They offered me money to buy horses. I said yes. One of the guys was an undercover agent of the FBI, and they used the simple question. They say yes for the money. They got me in a, how you call it, a scam or a setup.
Yeah.
And I fell for it because when they told me they want to buy $2 million on horses, I said, oh my God, this is my opportunity to be a good trainer, no problem to be quarter, because they want to pay me on front for the boarding.
Uh-huh.
That was the first condition I asked. They say, no, the money's no problem. We will pay you on front. So I say, okay, good. So then 4 weeks later after that meeting, I got arrested.
Wow.
And I got charged for conspiracy of laundry money on the federal court. So,
so you were working as a trainer, open your own business. Then you realize, holy crap, owning a business is not as easy. You started having problem as any business new owner has, right?
I aggravate the situation of gambling.
But you went to gamble trying to solve the problem.
Yes.
Another piece of advice for people out there, right?
Do not gamble at all.
Do not gamble.
At all.
And then someone came from heaven and said, hey, I want to buy a bunch of horses. I have $2 million. I'm an investor. And
yes. And I thought, well, this is my savior. So.
And you're like, thank you, Jesus. I have an investor that wants to spend $2 million with me and pay me ahead of time, which does not happen often. In the thoroughbred industry, right?
No. A few people, they do that, but it's not like the normal way to do it.
So these guys say, then after that, this was an FBA agent.
Well, the thing was that I met a guy that I knew from Venezuela 35, 40 years ago, that he was on the horse business and he was doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I never knew what kind of business he had, but we always see each other at the racetrack. Also, we talking about horses, about races, and seemed like he was very solvent.
Yeah, solvent.
Because he owned horses before, so I thought he was okay. And when he saw me, oh, I want to buy horses with you. So because we know each other, I say, well, that's a good idea. So he told me I got an investor. So he showed up with the investor. And
so the investor was after him.
Yes, exactly.
And this is all public knowledge, right? This is anybody who wants to read the story. This is actually a federal court.
Yes.
This is a federal court, so you can read the story if you want to follow it closely and know all the facts line by line.
Yes. The first part of the story was the thing was why I got arrested at that moment was because was another parallel operation about the doping and use the performance enhancing drugs that was going parallel on the racetrack.
And were you using any of these drugs?
No, I was totally naive about it. But one thing that now I recollect, my supposedly friend was telling all the time, you have to tell the guys that you know about all those drugs. So I say, why if I don't use that? No, because they like to hear about it. So I didn't know that was the whole situation until finally, after that happened, I realized myself, and it was a big operation. So when I got arrested, one of the first things they do was I cannot touch any horse because I was investigated to also for the use of the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
But then when they searched everything, when they found a bottle of Adequan,
An Adequan is a joint supplement,
Joint
for those of you who
supplement.
don't know.
a bottle of polyglycan, another joint supplement legally used, and a bottle of homeopathic stuff for respiratory problems. That's herbal stuff that everybody knows totally.
So the drugs that you were using were Adequan, polyglycan, and homeopathic.
Homeopathic.
And that's what they found.
Was they found in my house.
That's all. And then, so this is literally a very interesting example of being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Exactly.
Okay, so I like that you say that. I like that you say you're very vulnerable and you say, yes, I was gambling and that was wrong. I appreciate that. We all know. Listen, we all have our issues, and whoever say that they do no wrong, I really would like. I really would like to see. You know.
I'm not proud what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt very sorry. And now I realize how bad I was doing to myself, to my family too, because the problem is when you get in addiction, you see the other person's addiction, but you don't see yourself. That's the big problem. So I was always criticizing drug addicts, alcoholic people, but I never criticized myself. And I was worse than them.
Wow. Did you use drugs? Did you ever use drugs?
Never. I was a drinker, socially drinking, maybe once in a while get drunk, but no, I can stop drinking anytime I wanted, no problem. But gambling, that moment in that life, part of my life, was like a drug addict now. I knew that for a fact. I want to say something that's not proud again. I stopped paying my own bills to gamble.
Wow. So how did you come out of it? Because this is the lesson of the day. How did you come out of it? Because there's a lot of people, especially in the horse industry. There's so many people in the horse industry, and I hope that many people around the whole world are seeing this episode that have a problem. How did you stop it and overcame it?
Well, when I was in the process of my case, one of the prosecutors of one of the officers asked me to do a spreadsheet of all my expenses, what I did in the last 2 years. So I went to the bank statements month by month, and I was realizing, 2 or 3 times a week I was withdraw money, $600-700, even more than one time, because I needed to pay the groom at the racetrack. But the groom at the racetrack at the moment was $100. But so Wednesday I withdraw money, Friday I withdraw money, and Saturday I withdraw money. So then I realized how much money I took.
Wow.
For that moment, and I added together, I say, I wonder why I was broke. So it's a moment that you don't cut it up until they tell you to do something. You realize yourself how wrong you were. And honestly, it's going to sound a little bit selfish too, but I did all my recovery, what I did on my own. I started thinking about it every day, and I still have the papers. I still have the spreadsheet of my home.
Good.
It's like you say now, we do the goals. When I think on gambling, I see the spreadsheet. When I see the spreadsheet, everything's gone away.
Wow.
So it's kind of like a reminder.
What a great example of confronting the devil in the face.
In front of by myself.
Confronting the devil by yourself. That is commendable. And I hope that we can spread this message and a lot of people learn from this. Because let's face it, our profession as veterinarians, we are in deep trouble as a profession, right? We have one of the highest suicide rate in the country.
Yes.
As professionals. We have a very high alcoholism, a very high debt, extreme side of debt where we come out of vet school with 200, 300, $400,000 worth of student
And
loans,
then the loans to buy your equipment, that's very expensive to open a practice.
right? So this is a great message on how someone can learn from our experiences, from your experiences, and how you actually did it on yourself. And by the way, if you're having any of this trouble, you don't have to do like the Lichoa host by yourself. You can actually reach out to us and we'll help you out, by the way. So then you hit rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And what made you go for the license after that? At what age was that?
56.
At 56.
57. So at the time that I had the opportunity, when I start training horses, I got the opportunity. We opened it's a veterinarian Venezuelan association in exile here in Florida.
In exile.
In exile.
Uh-huh.
We opened. We found that association 4 years ago, and then they reached to me. Hey, you wanna be part of it? I say no. I'm training horses. I don't need that. Then after I hit bottom very hard, I thought to myself. I said, let me try to do that because I think I can do it. So, but let me see if I have all the papers there. So I asked my wife, do you remember the file that we have all my papers? And she told me, I threw it away because I was so mad with you because you never decided to take your license. I said, really, you throw it away? Say, maybe it's in one box that we have on the attic, maybe it's there. So I told her, let me go to see if it's there, the file. So I went there and the file was there totally intact.
Wow.
With all the papers I needed for the license.
Awesome.
Exactly all of them. No one more, no one less. All of them exactly the way they wanted. I have those. I have them. So I reached the association and they told me, yes, I qualify for the association, and then I sent all my paperwork and they helped me to promote all my papers to take my license.
And you started studying.
I started
like you
studying.
were
They give
a
us
student.
They give us an opportunity. You have a chance 3 times to pass the test in 5 years. So let me tell you something. The first week I was reading, I think I was in Mars. I don't know what we're doing. I say I'm a vet. How come I don't know nothing about that? Because it was really, really hard the first week. So I started slowly to get into it, and then I started liking it. And now, thank God, with the technology that we have some, they call them crash courses that you have everything.
Yeah, crash courses.
Crash courses. They have 2 programs that are extremely good. One is called Vet Prep and the other is Suku Review. They have everything there, so you can go like, oh no, I have to carry 20 books. No, use an iPad or iPhone or a little computer, you can have everything there. So I started. So my first test, I did it. I was 396. I felt so good because after 38 years, 396, I need 425.
So you failed it, but you were happy.
I was very happy because I say I failed, but that means I'm close.
Wow.
From 396 to 425 is very close.
So you didn't fail. You didn't see it as a failure. You saw it as, I am getting closer.
I'm getting
to the
closer.
goal.
And another, how you say the word, another pushing to go forward, like another injection of vitamins to you keep going. So I did it back to back. That was a mistake. I did it back to back too fast, and like a month or 2 months before the test, I was kind of sour. And I was a group. We have a study group. We were fighting too much because all we were sour. You know,
They're upset.
So I did pass did the test. I failed again, but was 419.
Wow! And how much did you need?
425. I say, oh my God, that's so short, so close. But then I took a break for a year, because I went.
Because this is your
away.
last chance, right? They only give you
Yes,
3 chances.
yes, 3 chances.
After that, it's gone.
Yes. So I take away for a year. But this time, the last time, I review what I did in the last 2 tests. I fix all my mistakes, and I did a study by myself. And once a week, I get in a group with the Suku Review. They have a group every week.
Mm-hmm.
They have a Zoom
Mm-hmm.
to discuss questions, stuff like that. So I went there for a week, and I went on my own. I didn't tell nobody. I used to study 8 hours a day, and I went and I passed. I did my test and I passed. Thank you.
Awesome. What a great story. What a fantastic story of life lessons. And this is the kind of stories that need to be shared with the world, because very few people are vulnerable enough to admit their mistake and learn from their mistake and actually become someone greater, because you knew what your purpose was, and you never gave up on your purpose.
No, if I have to do it again, I will reborn. I will be back, be a veterinarian in Venezuela. But at least at the moment I get my degree in Venezuela, I flew to the United States and take my license.
So,
and my
so you
test
don't
here.
have to pay the $300,000 student loans,
Exactly.
huh?
Well, this is one of the best. Honestly, being a vet in the United States is kind of a privilege. Believe me, it's something that you can. It's no words to say how good I'm feeling. Besides working with you guys, that, like I say, I'm learning every day with you guys. You are so professionals. You especially you, Dr. Alberto, that you like to teach the people around you, and I'm not ashamed to be older than you or whatever, but that's because I like to learn. And honestly, I'm very, very happy to be part of the group.
Well, thank you. We are extremely happy that you're part of our group as well. And this has been a fantastic interview. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable. And I cannot wait to see what's coming next. And we have a great future. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you very much. You have a great day.
Thank you very much. Thank you.